Anytime, anywhere, award-winning coverage you can count on. This is ABC 13 News. Good morning, Virginia.
Good morning, Virginia. It's Monday, August 3rd, 2015. I'm Brittany Tedder. Thanks for starting your day with us. A severe weather system moving across the upper Midwest turned deadly near Chicago when violent winds tore through an outdoor festival. One man was killed and several others were hurt. Bazi Kanani reports. The suspect in an officer-involved shooting in Arizona has died, and a TV crew that happened to be there caught the whole thing on camera. The crew was there Saturday night reporting from the shooting of a previous night before when shots broke out. Police say officers pulled up to a mobile home park, and that's when the man in the park started firing. The suspect ended up being shot, and that's when the officer ran over, picked up the gun, and moved it away from the shooter before putting him in handcuffs. The suspect was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police haven't released the suspect's name yet, and the two officers involved in the shooting weren't hurt. There's now a $10,000 reward for the capture of a man police say shot and killed a Memphis, Tennessee police officer. Investigators say 29-year-old Tremaine Wilburn shot Officer Sean Bolton over a small amount of drugs. Andy Rose has more. As a University of Cincinnati police officer waits for his next court appearance, hundreds gathered for a vigil honoring the man shot and killed during a traffic stop. Police say Officer Ray Tenzing shot Samuel Du Bois during a traffic stop 2 weeks ago. Friday night, mourners formed a massive prayer circle on the courthouse steps, and families spoke to those who had gathered. The crowd sang, holding candles and flashlights, in memory of Du Bois. And it turns out the former campus police officer wants his job back. A police union filed a grievance on Tenzing's behalf Wednesday, the same day he was charged with murder. University of Cincinnati fired Tenzing shortly after the shooting. The police union says UC violated Tenzing's employment contract. A mandatory grievance hearing will be held in the next few weeks. The university says it stands by its decision to terminate Tenzing. The Hillary Clinton campaign has released the Democratic candidates' tax returns. Andy Rose reports on the details that came out the same day as the department released more emails from Clinton's time in office. Vice President Joe Biden's late son, Beau, told him to run for president before he died. That's according to a report by New York Times columnist Maureen Dowd. In her column, Joe Biden in 2016, What Would Beau Do?, she describes a conversation the two had as Beau battled brain cancer. According to Dowd, Beau tried to make his father promise to run in 2016 in an effort to not let the presidency be returned back over to the Clintons. Beau passed away at the end of May. Vice President Biden has not yet decided whether he will run or not. Dowd reports he's been holding meetings at his home in Washington to explore the idea. The military is dealing with the fallout from a cyber attack last week. A key email system remains offline, and officials aren't sure when it can be fixed. This means some 4,000 military and other employees still can't access their emails. A Defense Department official says the situation is serious. Officials believe an individual or group hacked into the Pentagon server, which holds thousands of emails related to everything from operations to budget matters. But they say no classified emails were compromised. Still to come on Good Morning Virginia, an Arkansas mother is the ultimate story in forgiveness. Why she wants the man who killed her son to be released from prison. And it's a hot one out there today, and a chance for rain moves in later in the week. Melissa will have your full forecast after the break. Now here's a look at the most viewed stories this morning on WSET.com. Family and friends gathered on the second-year anniversary of the disappearance of Alexis Murphy. Also, many of you are logging on to read about a vigil that was held to honor the Lyon sisters. Plus, hundreds of Confederate flag supporters rallied in Danville. Be sure to log on to WSET.com, your source for ABC 13 News anytime. Take a look at this incredible image from space. NASA's Hubble Space Telescope captured this image of a dying star. Scientists say it takes about 10,000 years for a star to lose its twinkle. Coming up in the next half hour of Good Morning Virginia, they weren't from the area, but the Bedford County community came together to remember two little girls who have been missing for more than 40 years. More on a special visual for the Lyon sisters, plus it's on everything from coins to state seals. But now some people in Florida say the phrase "In God We Trust" doesn't represent them.
Anytime, anywhere, award-winning coverage you can count on. This is ABC 13 News. Good morning, Virginia.
It's been 40 years since the Lyon sisters disappeared, but folks in Bedford County are doing all they can to keep the girls' memory alive. And this weekend, dozens of people came out to a vigil held in honor of the sisters and their family. Courtney Wheaton reports. A man who went to a North Carolina restaurant hoping to propose to his girlfriend instead ended up stopping a robbery. The business had been robbed twice before in the past month, but this time the suspect didn't get away. Steve Ozenshores has the story. One person is facing charges after a crash in Lynchburg that sent 2 people to the hospital. At around 1:15 Saturday morning, police and EMS responded to Route 29 near the Gray Street exit. When they got there, they found a car that had run off the right side of the road and hit a light pole and overturned. The driver, 33-year-old Quincy Slash, was thrown from the car. Both he and his 34-year-old passenger were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Slash has been charged with reckless driving and driving under the influence. Police are investigating a man who they say purposely crashed his car outside the U.S. Capitol. Antonio Perozzo was arrested on Friday after ramming his car into a security barricade outside the building. He later told reporters that there was a problem with his patent for a new clothing design, but an attorney said the 51-year-old has a history of mental illness. The attorney said the suspect was arrested last year for reportedly damaging more than a dozen cars at 2 car dealerships. Danville City Council will meet this week to discuss an ordinance that would ban the Confederate flag from flying on city-owned flagpoles. Meanwhile, hundreds came to show their support for the Confederate flag that flies outside the Danville Museum. Speakers at yesterday's event would say the flag would not be coming down without a fight. That included Councilman Fred Shanks, the lone council member to speak. Former Congressman Virgil Goode also encouraged the crowd to not give in to the pressure to be politically correct. In Georgia, hundreds of Confederate flags were on display this weekend. On Saturday, people for and against the flag rallied at Stone Mountain State Park near Atlanta. Supporters showed up from 7 different states to support the Confederate flag. They argue it represents their heritage. Others say it's a symbol of hate. In God We Trust has been on the nation's motto for 59 years, and in some areas of Florida, the phrase is getting new life on the side of law enforcement vehicles. But not everyone is supportive of the new bumper stickers. Danielle Wallace has the story. Officials say the stickers are donated and not bought with taxpayer money. About 20 other agencies across Florida's Panhandle have jumped on the bumper sticker bandwagon. Still to come on Good Morning Virginia, Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett's tour is over now, but it didn't go out without a bang. Details in today's showbiz news. And coming up a little bit later, we'll have a check of the weather. It's going to be a hot one today with a chance of rain later in the week. Melissa has the full forecast after the break. Grammy Award-winning duo Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett ended their world tour this weekend, but not before Gaga pulled a couple of tricks. Plus, a big weekend at the box office for Tom Cruise. Mary Maloney has the highlights in today's showbiz news. A Connecticut burger chain is offering a burger and a shake with a twist, or in this case, a chirp. Matt Campbell explains. Coming up in the next half hour of Good Morning Virginia, severe weather killed 1 person and left behind a big mess in the upper Midwest. The death of Cecil the lion still has a lot of people very angry, and now there's a lot of concern about the well-known lion's cubs.